Hi, greetings for the day. This is CA Uday Elchuri. Today we will see a topic from chapter number 4, e-commerce, m-commerce and emerging technologies. And the topic is cloud computing environments. Before we discuss about different kinds of cloud computing environment, first let us try to understand what do you mean by cloud computing. So as the definition says, cloud computing means use of computing resources as a service through networks. So these three are critical terms in the definition. Computing resources as a service. Third is how? Via networks. So first let us try to understand what do they mean by computing resources. It can be a software or it can be a hardware, sometimes the combination of both. Okay, so you might be using some software as a service or you might be using some hardware. When I say hardware, it can be like the storage devices or networks. Okay, so these are all the examples of hardware we can say. So I hope you understand what do you mean by computing resources. Now, how we are using them as a service. That means we are not buying them outright. Okay, we are using them as a service. On a periodical basis, we pay certain amount and then consume the services. How we are accessing them? Through networks, typically the internet. So using internet, you are accessing certain software or utilizing some hardware resources is called cloud computing. Okay, so let us take an example from our day-to-day life. I believe you all will have a personal email account. It could be a Gmail or a Yahoo Mail or a Hotmail, could be any email service provider, it doesn't matter. So when you are trying to access the email services, what are you doing? You open a browser on your machine, type the URL of it, example www.gmail.com, where you will enter your username and password and it will give you an access to your email account. So from that email account, what are all the activities you do? Either you can read through the emails what you got your mailbox or you can send an email. Okay, so this is a service which is being accessed. Okay, now when you are sending and receiving, apart from reading the mail, you might also receive certain documents, images or videos as attachments. Similarly, you can also send, right? So in order to send all these things, where is the storage capacity being used? Is it from your local machine? Absolutely no. Means is it storing somewhere? Means somewhere the data has to be stored so that the document have been transferred to the recipient, right? So just apply that email example to this cloud computing definition now. So here under email, under computing resources, you are utilizing the Gmail, means that email application and the service of sending and receiving emails and also the storage capacity. So this is one of the classic example for a cloud computing environment. Okay, I hope now I hope you would have understood what is meant by cloud computing. Now, so let us further understand what are all the key points from the definition part. So the cloud refers to applications, services and data storage as we just discussed. So with cloud computing, users can access the database resources via internet from anywhere as long as they need, without worrying about any maintenance or management of actual resources. So when you are attaching when you are sending an email with an attachment, are you worrying about the storage devices like hard disks? Absolutely no, you are least bothered, right? That is taken care by Google, means who is the service provider there. So this is about cloud computing. I hope you got an understanding about cloud computing. Now without further delay, let's get into the actual topic lined up for today. So there are 4 types of cloud computing environment. One is private cloud, second one is public cloud, third is hybrid, fourth is community cloud. Okay, there are 4 types of cloud computing environments. First one is private cloud. As the name suggests, this cloud computing environment resides within the boundaries of an organization and is used exclusively for organization benefits. As you see in the diagram, in the organization itself, they will have that cloud computing. It could be application or a hardware, as we already understand from the definition. So let's assume for easy example sake, it's a software, okay, some software. Where it is installed on the application, in the organization premises itself. And who can use it? The employees, means the people who are within the organization can only use that software or an application. So this is called a private cloud, means complete secured. It will be there in the complete secured environment. So this is also known as internal clouds or a corporate clouds. Students, hope you understand what is meant by a private cloud. Now the next one is public cloud. It's just an opposite of private cloud, where the infrastructure that is provisioned for open use by the general public, you and me can use that infrastructure. So a classic example of public cloud is, you can say, the email service providers, okay, and also I think many of you might be using Google Drive or OneDrive. If you are using Apple devices, you will also have iDrive. So like this, you have various cloud service providers who gives, what is the service they are providing here? You can access the storage space into it. So usually what they do, so till certain limit, okay, let's say 10 GB, up to 10 GB you can use these services free of cost. But if you want to use more than 10 GB, you have to pay per use. You have to pay as per it. Example, up to 100 GB per year you pay 2000 rupees, and if you want 250 GB, maybe pay 2500 rupees, something like that. They will charge based on the usage what you want. So these are also called provider clouds. It's an alternate name to the public clouds. So just remember this terminology. Maybe there could be some MCQ questions on these synonyms. So what users can do, they simply purchase the resources on an hourly basis. So they have taken a different example. Maybe if you are using their computing resources, you might be paying on hourly basis. Work with the resources which are available on the cloud service providers premises. So basically, where they will be situated, it's in the cloud service provider. Example, in email case, the email server and a storage server, all those resources are not there in our houses, right? So it's there in the Google premises, some part of the country. Okay, all we are doing is accessing those services via internet. So it's called public cloud. Now the next one is hybrid cloud. It's very simple. It's a combination of private and public. So basically, if you see under what circumstances the organizations go for private hybrid cloud, for all the critical operations, they can use private cloud because it gives more secured and control. Whereas under public cloud, for all their non-critical operations, they can go for it because the advantage of public cloud is it's less costly. Okay. Anyway, we will discuss about the characteristics. Then you will further appreciate the concept of hybrid cloud. Now the last one is community cloud. So as the name suggests, here it's provision. The cloud infrastructure is given for exclusive use by a specific community of consumers from organizations that have shared concerns. Means it's a group of organizations, as the diagram you can see. So organization A, B, C. So together they come and use this cloud application. Okay. So here means will it be accessible to the general public? Can you and me can access this community cloud? Definitely no. It is only for those organizations. Can organization D can access? No, because in this community cloud only A, B, C are part of it. Nobody else can access it. So you can say that community clouds are a bit extension to private clouds. So these are the 4 different categories of cloud computing environments. Now let us see the characteristics of these 4 cloud computing environments. So I have given in a tabular format so that it's easy for you to compare and understand the characteristics of each cloud. So let's go to the first characteristics, control and management. So as we know, in private cloud environments, it is situated within the premises of the organization, you will have more control, right? Because it's within your premises, you can do whatever you want to do. Whereas in public cloud, it's nowhere in your visibility. Okay, when you are using the Gmail application services, you never know where is that server is located. So don't have any control to it. In hybrid, as you combination of private and public, basically you'll have the best of them. So in hybrid, you'll have a moderate control, because you also have a private, right, where you can have full control. Public, no control. If you average it, it become moderate. Okay, I'm just giving a math formula. So whereas in community cloud, it will be a collaborative and distributive, because it's not you alone controlling it. Along with you, there are few more organizations that have a control on the cloud environment. So I hope you understand the first characteristics, the control and management perspective, how these 4 cloud environments works. Now the second topic is SLA, service level agreement. Okay, in simple terms, SLA means if you are taking any service from an outsider or some third party vendor, you will have certain terms and conditions. Okay, so that's the simple definition of service level agreement. Let's say to further give a couple of examples, like if I am using your email services, you need to ensure that the email server should be up and running 24/7 by 365, because I'm using that for my office purposes. So the email server should be always up and running, and you should provide a minimum of 25 GB per storage space per each user account. So like this, they might have certain terms and conditions agreed with the service provider. So now let us see how this characteristic is there in all the cloud 4 environments. So under private, the SLA is weak, because anyway you are the owner, so you don't have a much stringent controls. So you always tend to say, if something is your own, you don't feel you will not demand anything, right? If you want, you will increase the things. So from the public cloud environment, the SLAs are very stringent, because you are taking services from an outsider, so you will have this agreement very stringently. Hybrid, as it's a combination, so you can have the best of them. Hybrid, stringent ones. So now from the level of security perspective, private cloud gives more, because it's situated within your organization, whereas from public, very less. In hybrid, it's a partial, whereas community also is partial. So under community, along with you, there are few more organizations which is sharing the same resources. From the availability perspective, in private, we wrote high to moderate, because you can say that since a control is within you, means to manage it at one time, you can say you maintain it, you always maintain it, and it is available to the users. Sometimes there is a chance that you might go far below it, so it will become moderate. So from the public, as it is a service provider, and especially the service level agreement is stronger with the service provider, you will have a high availability. And whereas hybrid, so again, as you have both private and public, the best will be high. Now from the affordability perspective, in private, it will become more costly. It's not that affordable, because you need to maintain it, you need to procure it. It's a highly capex intensive, high cost of capital. Whereas public, it's affordability is very low, so that means more people can afford it, high affordability. Hybrid, again, it's a combination, so it's a moderate. Community, cost effective, because you are sharing with other fellow organizations. Scalability means whenever you want, if you want to expand it, previously you want 100 GB, now you want to go to 200 GB. In private, scalability is low. That means it doesn't mean that you can't go beyond 100 GB. Okay, you can definitely go for 200 GB, but in such cases, you need to procure the required hard disk of that additional 100 GB, right? Whereas in public, it's very simple. Example, in Gmail, once you out of that 15 GB, just pay a monthly rental, they will increase to 100 GB to 15 GB to 100 GB or 1 TB based on the need you have. They will have different plans. Okay, so all you need to do is just upgrade to a paid plan, so that you will get the requisite storage space. In hybrid, it's a combination of both. So these are all the various characteristics of these 4 cloud computing environments. I hope this gives you a complete understanding about different cloud computing environments. Thank you for watching the video.